This episode of Akram's Ideas, I wear a hat. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Tagaby Burris, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. Since I'm still kicking off season 3 of Akram's Ideas, I thought I would share with you my 2018 Make 9. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this tag was started, I believe, back in 2016 by Rochelle of Home Row Fiber Co. I definitely suggest that you take a look at her Instagram. She has the most beautiful stream of yarn work and prints and fabrics and sewing stuff, and it's just really, really lovely. But the idea behind this, like I said earlier, is that you select 9 patterns that you know for sure this year you want to make. And so I have been optimistic in a lot of my Make 9s in the past year, especially 2017. A lot of people actually did these recap videos, whether they made stuff on their Make 9 or not. And I did not even bother because I was so unsuccessful at my Make 9 last year. In my smiley sewing story last week, I mentioned body positivity and having some weight issues and trying to lose weight. So the goal is to continue that weight loss journey. So in 2018, all my resolutions and sewing plans are to make things that I want to make, have never made, and things that I know in some ways can transition or will just be good practice for later. And that's really what my goal is to, like, I'm going to make this as a test to see how I like it, and then I probably will remake them later on. And I should say how I came about this Make 9 is I looked at what I wore, what I need in my wardrobe, and what I want to make. And so what I really need in my wardrobe right now are tops. I have a lot of skirts that I've made, and I've got a lot of dresses. So I decided that I needed to make more tops. So the first 3 on my list are tops. The first one being the Sew House 7 toaster sweater. This is a very, very, very popular sweater. It's got raglan sleeves and a big waistband and a turtleneck collar. It's been going around the internet for a couple of years now, actually, and I finally bit the bullet and bought the pattern for Christmas. And I've actually already made one, and I've got another one planned. So this was super quick, super easy, and it's already checked off my Make 9 list. So I'm really excited about that. The next one being the Mimi blouse from Tilly's in the Buttons book, Love at First Stitch. So I've got a couple of versions of the Mimi's blouse planned, but since that's more of a lightweight blouse, I'm gonna make those in the springtime because it's still pretty cold here in Oklahoma. The next top that I have on my Make 9 is the violet blouse from Colette Patterns. I really, really love the vintage look of this blouse. It's just so lovely, and I think I can make a couple of different variations with long sleeves and short sleeves so that I can have some for spring and some for fall. I think it would look beautiful with some of the Simplicity 8019 button-down skirts that I made last year. I made like 7 of those, so I think this blouse would look really, really nice with that. So those were the blouses. The next set of patterns that I have on my Make 9 are my vintage pledge patterns. So there is another hashtag out there of vintage pledge where you pledge to sew vintage patterns for the year. And I have a ton of vintage patterns, so I really need to focus on that. And I thought the best way to ensure that I make some vintage patterns is to put them on my Make 9. So the first pattern that I want to make is Simplicity 8246. This is a 1960s suit set, and I said back in my winter plans video that I was going to make this, and I was going to make it out of this beautiful blue with these snail flakes. That's still the plan. Unfortunately, so many things came up this early in the year that I haven't gotten around to making it, and I feel like by the time I make it, winter will be over. So I'm actually going to push this back near the end of the year so that when I make it, I'll actually be able to wear it at the same time. So that is still the plan. Another vintage pattern that I have in my stash is Simplicity 5889. It's just a lovely late 50s, early 60s dress. I think it's really cute. I believe it'll be a relatively quick make, and the pattern, the vintage pattern, is in my size. So I believe that it shouldn't be too difficult. I might have to do some adjusting on the waist a little bit, but it's the right bust size. So that will speed up things a little bit on that. Again, it's kind of a short sleeve dress, so I'm leaning towards springtime or early summer to make that. The next vintage pattern on my Make 9 list is Simplicity 2154. And if you see me looking off the screen, I've written them on the marker board just across the wall here. So Simplicity 2154, that is a suit set from the 60s, and I have actually made this. I made this way back when, like in 2012, when I was first started sewing, and like with anything I do, I just sort of jump into it. I never look like, oh, that looks difficult. I always like, I wonder if I can do this as a challenge to myself. And I made it. It worked, but it wasn't 100%. I had some really wonky things going on with the sweater sleeve. I had to fix the shoulder really bad. I think I cut the wrong size. I made the skirt in knit and then realized that you weren't really supposed to do that on this pattern. And anyways, it was wonky, and I never actually got around to making the blouse that came with the pattern. I just did the sweater top and the skirt. And anyways, it works, but it doesn't fit quite right. And I really want to make the bow blouse as well. So this is on my list to make again and hopefully do better this time. So it's on my 2018 Make 9. The last set of items on my Make 9 are dresses, because let's face it, who doesn't love a good dress? And so I have 3 dresses. I have the Tilly and the Buttons Megan dress. I already have the fabric and everything ready to go on this dress. It is going to be a spring summer dress simply because it's on the cooler side. It's short sleeves and just the way it looks, and the fabric I have chosen is more on the nautical side. At least it feels nautical to me. So that's going to be probably a late spring, early summer dress. The next one on the list is the Jennifer Lauren handmade laneway dress. Back in December, I took part in the Secret Santa KB pattern swap, which was hosted by Sean from Kitness Behavior, and I swapped patterns with the lovely Natita from Natural Dane. And with that, I actually got the Jennifer Lauren laneway dress. So with that said, this is on my list of things to do very, very soon. I'd like to make it in the spring. I already have plans for maybe possibly doing more than one version, maybe even a sew-along version of that dress. I don't know. We'll see. But that's going to happen, and that's going to happen probably around March time. I don't know yet. Stay tuned for that. The last dress on the list is the Tilly in the Buttons Lilu dress. Another really great dress from the Love at First Stitch book. My plan is to make an identical dress to the one in the book because I have a really large amount of red satiny fabric and I think it would look fabulous. And so this is actually going to be my Christmas plan dress, so that's going to be near the end of the year. You will also note that on my Make 9, I have several Tilly and the Buttons patterns from the Love at First Stitch book. And the reason behind that is that Tilly announced that she has a new book coming out in March. And I actually got that pre-ordered as a Christmas present. But when I pre-ordered it, I made a goal to myself, before I can dive into that book, I need to make every single pattern from the Love at First Stitch book. Now, I love Tilly and the Buttons patterns. I've made a ton of them, and the Delphine skirt in that book is probably my most favorite skirt ever. I've made 7 of them. I've actually just cut out another one, so I'm gonna end up with 8, maybe more. I love that skirt, so I really needed to make the rest of the stuff in the book. I did a hack of the Megan dress a long time ago where I only made the top part of it and combined it with the Delphine skirt. So it wasn't a true Megan dress. I just recently made the Margot pajamas, so I got that out of the way. I didn't put the Clement skirt on the list because it's just a basic gathered skirt. Nothing fancy really about it, and I've made a lot of those, so I didn't really even bother. So the ones that I was missing the big portion of in the book was the Megan dress, the Lulu dress, and the Mimi blouse. And so those are on my Make 9 to make, so I can say that I've made every single thing out of the first book before I get started in the second book. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and if you did, be sure to give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to follow Akram's Ideas on social media and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching!